Good evening. I'm David Wass Jr. and welcome to this month's Town Administrators Report. With me is our Town Administrator, Steve Mayo. Welcome, Steve, and Happy New Year.
Thank you, David. Happy New Year to you. This is our first meeting of 2021.
This is actually show 1201. It's the first show of the 12th season.
Oh, wow. Oh, goodness.
I know. Seems like just yesterday. Of course, top of the show is the continuing COVID-19 pandemic. And, looking at the latest figures that were released on January 14th, Wakefield still has a status of red.
Yeah, Wakefield, not unlike another 200 plus communities in Massachusetts are still in the red zone. I think, despite our pleas, despite, I think, best efforts by many, many people, we are seeing, that post Christmas, post New Year's, spike that we all feared was going to happen. And interestingly enough, from what I've been able to surmise and through our health department is that it's a lot of, there's not one, event that super spread everything. It's a lot of, this gathering here, everybody got it in the family. This gathering here, everybody got it in the family. So kind of what we unfortunately had anticipated happening, and our positivity rates are basically the same as a lot of communities around us and trending a little bit higher. I'm hopeful that we're going to see a little bit of a downturn right now, like we've seen in the rest of the state in the last week or so. So we will see what happens there.
Well, the numbers that are released tomorrow, I believe around 6 p.m., will tell us the story. Right now, the percent positivity is at 8.54%.
Yes, 8.54%. And, a lot of people have a much higher positivity rate. And people have lower. But we're hopeful that that'll continue to come down. I think that a lot of people have been really good about, constantly wearing one of these. We require it in town hall. Certainly, we require, the state requires it outside. So hopefully those numbers will come down. But if we could pivot to something that's a much more exciting topic and showing the light at the end of the tunnel is finally the beginning of the vaccinations.
Right. Where do we stand in Wakefield on that?
All right. So at this point, most, if not all, of our first responders have been vaccinated. We had a joint venture with the communities of Melrose, Malden, Winchester, Medford, and Stoneham and Wakefield together. Because we're in a health collaborative, we were actually able to obtain vaccines that we were able to administer ourselves. Mm-hmm. And these were administered in a number of areas. I actually helped signing people in Saturday morning at Memorial Hall in Melrose, where a lot of Wakefield's and other communities' first responders came in, including ambulance drivers, school nurses, people like that came in and got vaccinated, got their first vaccine. So that worked very well. Our process and the process, and I think most communities in Massachusetts it's not like a drive-through. At this point, we can get your vaccine and go. We're actually making very sure that there aren't any allergic reactions. So if you do not have a history of allergies or allergic reactions, once you're vaccinated, we're going to observe you for 15 minutes. And if nothing happens, you're fine, then you're allowed to go. If you have a history of that, so you've had, anaphylactic issues and you've had have to use an EpiPen, what have you, we're going to ask that you maintain with us for 30 minutes. Mm-hmm. So again, to make sure that nobody gets a reaction and gets sick by this. And I don't think anybody had a reaction that I've heard of over the last few days. So we were able to get the vaccines and administer that only because we're part of that collaborative. You know, a smaller community there, at this point, the state was not looking into the smaller communities. So the state is also going out, and they are, and in their partnerships with CVS and Walgreens, are going into some of the nursing homes, or into the nursing homes, and they are also vaccinating the people in the nursing homes. You see
That was going to be my follow-up question is, you know, have Brightview and some of the other nursing facilities in the town also been, has vaccination started there?
Yeah, my assumption is, although we haven't done that ourselves, my assumption is yes, they have been done and will continue to be done through this phase one. You know, we're concentrating on the next step of phase one, which would be home-based healthcare workers, healthcare workers doing non-COVID facing care, which the state has said are dentists and hygienists, dental hygienists. I think that they are pretty facing. So I don't know how they got into that category, but that's what we're doing next. Congregate care settings, including correction facilities, which we don't have one, and shelters, which we don't have, but we do have some group homes that we'll be doing those, although a lot of those people have already been vaccinated. So we do anticipate having some clinics for home-based healthcare workers, any first responders that didn't get through in the next week or so, and the healthcare workers that we talked about. Then it really starts to get, I'm going to use the word exciting. It really gets exciting, and we're going to expand to phase two. And phase two is supposed to start either at the end of January, beginning of February. And that's only a week, 10 days away. So we're getting very close. And the first group will be individuals with 2 or more comorbidities, and or anybody over the age of 75.
Mm-hmm.
And that is a lot of our Wakefieldians. There must be probably 2,500 who are over 75 living in Wakefield, maybe 3,000 people. We are currently, so where are we going to do this? You know, we made the decision, it was announced at the council meeting, that we are going to handle our vaccines for our citizens and our employees at Wakefield's going to handle it on our own. We're going to do it through our health department. We've had a great success with the flu shots over the years. Those clinics have gone very well. We want to do that for our citizens as well here, so they don't have to go to Fenway Park, which is being, or north to Topsfield or wherever. They can stay here and do that. So what we are doing is we are negotiating. You know, you need a site that's big enough to handle this, right?
Right.
That has parking, that isn't going to disrupt our ongoing activities at either schools or what have you. So we are looking for a site. We're very close to getting it done. I will tell you for our show here that hopefully that site is going to be the, I'm going to date us, the American Mutual site. Will date us, David. Most other people call it the Converse site, but we know
Right.
it.
We know it as American Mutual.
And we've been talking to the owners there. It's vacant. It's got plenty of parking. There's plenty of space. So we're negotiating that right now, because at the height of this, we're hoping to vaccine, 1,000+ people a day. It's a big undertaking, right? Shot number 1 happens, and that's, then do 1,000, and we keep moving on. And then 28 days later, they're back for their second shots, 1,000. So we'll be vaccinating, February, March, April through May. That will be going on. And I hope, beyond hopes, that, through by the end of May, we'll have done 25,000 vaccines in the town of Wakefield.
Which is roughly the population we have today.
Right, exactly. We're hoping that we would get, to everybody. Now, there are some people that are going to need a little bit of help. We'll be working on that through phone banks. So we'll be working on that through, the ride, through our senior center, getting people there. There will be people that will need help filling out the forms, because everybody is savvy online. This is an online registration that will be rolling out shortly. So I don't want anybody to think that they can call town hall right now. They can call the health department. They can sign up for something. We're not there yet. We're a few days away. Okay. We don't even have the vaccines yet to give out. So there's a
Well,
lot.
would this be something where letting people know that things are set up and ready to go is a good use of the Code Red system?
Yes, that'll be something that we'll use as well for that. We will be letting people know that, because that's some people, that's all they get. We'll be using all forms of media. We're certainly going to count on WCAT to push this out, because that WCAT has a great reach that we've discovered over the years. No, we have, and rightly so. So that is a very, very exciting item that's going on. I feel like it's part of the solution, instead of just, treading water and trying to prevent the spread, by wearing masks, and which is important in itself, and
Right.
limiting social gatherings. But we need to get to that point where 80+% or around 80% of the population is inoculated. So we've kind of hit that herd
Immunity, yeah.
So we can move forward and start to get part of our lifestyle back.
Yeah.
So I'm saying is that we government can't do it alone. I don't know if you got that part of it. We do need help from volunteers. We anticipate the first week of February, February 1st or thereabouts, starting to actually start to vaccine those who are 75 and over, or to have two comorbidities. Then we're going to run into teachers and grocery clerks and utilities and food and agricultural, public works, all your other essential personnel coming in after that. Then we drop down to age 65, and then individuals with one comorbidity, regardless of their age. And then phase 3, which will be the general public. And I imagine that will be around, for Wakefield, probably 18,000 or so. So that's really when we're going to have, probably three weeks straight of, maybe 1,000 people a day, 900 people a day.
Sure.
And then, at the end of that 3 weeks, we'll start again for them to get their second shot. So, that probably won't happen till April, until April or May, when we get to that third group. But it is exciting.
It is. And the fact that it came together so very quickly is just a huge testament to our research labs around the country that have been studying similar diseases for the last 25 years, and we're able to jump on this and get up to speed as fast as they did.
Yeah, this is certainly a incredible undertaking with a lot of different disciplines. It was a great public-private partnership so far, and we're going to frankly look for another public-private partnership here, looking for volunteers to man this and staff it. You won't be giving shots unless you're an EMT or a registered nurse.
Right.
But you'll be doing a lot of other important things, checking people in, helping people fill out the paperwork, monitoring people after they have the shot, because like I said, we monitor them for 15 minutes or 30 minutes, flowing people through, keeping them distant while we're doing it. Maybe making sure that the right people are picked up and brought there that need a little help getting there. So there's a lot of help we're going to need, and this is going to run for the next 3 months. So real way to give back to the community, real way to be part of a solution. So I'm very excited and happy about it, and really great job by our staff here, particularly our emergency management director, Tom Walsh, our health agent, Ruth Clay, the Board of Health, and all of our volunteers that have already volunteered. So we're ready to hit the ground running, and I'm proud of our community, because not every community is going to do this, take this on their own.
Right.
A lot of communities, they'll be going to the massive state sites, which is great that we have them. But I really don't want our citizens having to drive to Fenway Park or to Topsfield. There's rumored to have a spot there.
Right.
The Topsfield.
Or even the Patriots.
Or Foxborough.
Foxborough, yeah.
So there's a lot of, we didn't even know we were going to have the ability to do this until, my goodness, Friday the 15th or so. We
Right.
just heard about this, or maybe Friday the 8th. So we're jumping through hoops to get this done. So but we're happy to have that hoop to jump through instead of other ones.
Yeah, the other thing that's been going on in Wakefield in the last 2 weeks, or actually the last 8 days, I guess, we've had two very serious police incidents.
Yes, yeah, and I got to tell you, I am so incredibly grateful and proud of our heroes on the Wakefield Police Department. They're well trained, they are sensitive, they're strong, and they really handled both of these instances absolutely flawlessly in my account. The first one was really a mental health call where there was a party that was known to our clinicians and known to our police department as having, some issues. He was threatening neighbors of his, had actually assaulted and hurt a few neighbors of his, and claimed that he had weapons and what have you, and was then finally holed up in his apartment by himself. Okay. So we spent an inordinate amount of time and well worth it with the clinician being on site, talking to the person, our trained officers talking to the person. And this person ultimately, basically gave themselves up with no issue at all, did not have any hostages. No one was at, risk, probably other than the person himself at that point. So it was able to be handled in a different way. And that was done flawlessly in my mark. And you had a lot of police officers who were on scene. Of course, like anything else, someone says that they have dangerous weapons. The perimeter is secured. The area is secured. Everyone is told to, maintain in place and what have you. So that worked out very well. The second instance was really tragic and horrific, and did end up in force being necessary. And again, I think what heroes we have in our police department
And our fire department in this case.
Fire department and our, we had a teacher, a woman, Pam Wood, the name is out there now, who did not show up for work on yesterday morning. Was kind of strange, didn't call in, had an appointment. It's a speech pathologist, had an appointment with a student, didn't show up, no word. So what a lot of, employees will do, what our school department did was they called, tried to reach her on a home and cell phone, didn't, have, how, when you fill out those emergency contact forms, who to contact, right? Called her family members who had seen her Sunday. So here it was, Tuesday morning, I'd seen her Sunday, and family proceeded to the house, noticed cars in the driveway, and didn't have a key, couldn't get in. So they did the right thing. They didn't, break into the home themselves. They went down to the police department. Police department went there, again, observed the property, did not, the officers that went there did not, had a sense that something was amiss. Mm-hmm. Fire department personnel joined them, and they were able to open the back door, to do what, and we do these often. We often do wellness checks, and this is part of the service that we do in
right.
our community. And many times they find someone that maybe fell asleep, maybe they were ill, maybe they didn't take their medication, maybe they took medication they shouldn't have. So many instances, this does not get reported. It's someone that needed assistance for whatever reason. Maybe they fell and were injured and couldn't get to the phone.
Right.
So, died peacefully, or in this instance, started to do their check of the house. And as they were checking each floor, they came upon what was definitely a deceased body in a very tragic scene, and the police officers were then attacked by the person who we alleged perpetrator of the murder, and with a knife over his head, coming at the officers in a very confined space. Very different situation than we had before. The officers did have to subdue the person. They did have to use force to do it. That person is now in Leahy Clinic, and I don't know whether or not a person went to surgery. I don't really know what has happened since then. I don't know if the person has been arraigned, is able to be arraigned, but the person will be arraigned for very multiple issues, very multiple charges. And, afterwards, we are very concerned with our officers. Our officers are seen by counselors right away. All of them are taken to the hospital where they are observed. And then they're brought back and meeting with the crisis team. And that will continue as we go through that. So, the district attorney came in, and when the district attorney comes in with their team, they take over the site.
Yeah.
Take over the dissemination of information. They take over the investigation. So that's where we are right now. As of this morning, probably there was still members of the district attorney's team at the public safety building using our community room emergency operations center building for this. So a real tragic, horrible day. Well, anyways, I just want to say that I'm very proud of our first responders. They put themselves into harm's way. It's not easy at all. They don't know what they're well-trained. They care about the town. They care about all of, whether they're victims or whether they're perpetrators. They do everything they can to keep people safe. Sometimes they get put into no-win situations, but they are heroes. And I think in both instances, they handle themselves completely honorably, by the book. And I stand by them and all of our people over there. So,
Right.
Day for them. And, I think, I don't know if you got this or not, after something like that happens, we certainly have our officers or firefighters or personnel, they're taken to the hospital, to talk about trauma or what have you, also be checked out for other things.
Sure.
We then have a crisis team, which is made up of other officers in the area through our relationship with NEMLEC, that are waiting for them back at the station to kind of get them to diffuse, as the police chief said, diffuse them a little bit. And there will be ongoing help through our employee assistance program, through all these programs there, as there are at the schools today. There's, help there for anybody that needs a little help to get through this. So,
well, yes, and it's already been reported in the media, so it's no secret that Pamela Wood was a part of the Greenwood School, which has affected my end of town.
Right.
Seriously. I have two grandsons currently at the school.
Correct. Yeah.
And, for my part, I just want to say that, her death is a greatly shocking and profoundly sad loss to her family, friends, colleagues, and students in the Greenwood School, and the town as a whole, because I know she was very much respected. And I just want to say that our thoughts and prayers go out to all in this most difficult time, and also commend the police force and the fire department for how they handled the situation and took care of things.
Yeah, exactly.
So, okay, you wanted to be able to do an editorial.
Yeah, I want to do a small editorial on this. And I think that, we've learned a lot. I certainly have learned a lot over the last 10, 12 years. We certainly try here at Town Hall to communicate everything we can as quickly as we can to the community. And that's where it should come from. It should come from those that know what's happening, know exactly what's happening, are disseminating this in a manner that we can, because often it's an ongoing investigation. There's certain things that can't be said, or they can't be said because, there's privacy involved of individuals, and there are items that needed to be done. Always my biggest concern is, we want to let the community know that there's no ongoing threat to them. And we can't tell them that until that's, until we know that, okay? Other than that, it's like stay put, shelter in place and what have you. So in both of these instances, it seems like social media ran amok. And I'm going to ask the public is that please, be responsible. Do not post what you don't know, because you don't know 99 times out of 100. On the first item, the first scene with the one 8 days ago, I was going to the scene, and on the way there, I am getting called and texted from people in the community that are telling me that an officer has been shot, officers are down, can you tell me what's going on? Frankly, I'd heard none of that. And I think had that happened, I would have been informed. So in that instance, so I parked my car, I'm walking to the site. People are stalking me along the way. Steve, tell me it's not true. Tell me our office is okay. Yeah, I believe they are. So in that case, whoever first posted all of those things, and it takes on a life of their own, that was, that's creating a lot of angst for people and, needlessly, and it's not true. Okay. So no one was shot in that instance. No police officer was shot. In fact, in that instance, no shots were even fired by anybody. So, I think we need to be very careful. In the second incident that was so totally tragic, when the district attorney came in, which was right off the bat, they take over. It's an ongoing investigation. They're disseminating information. We were working with them to disseminate the information that we could. So I would ask the community in these cases to listen. We have a fantastic police, fantastic fire department, fantastic communications department. We will get the information out as quickly and as prudently as we can, making sure that it's true, it's been vetted, and that it is not going to, in the second instance, harm any ongoing investigation. So I'm just asking people to step back, take a few minutes to let things play out. And it was particularly galling to me, and then I'm done with the soapbox, but David gave me the opportunity. It was particularly galling to me watching the press conference stream through, and District Attorney Ryan, who I think has been a great friend of Wakefield over the years, I think does a marvelous job. She is giving the information to the public as the public wants. And what happens is people are commenting. I'm seeing the streams. I don't know why she's wearing that mask. That mask must be a designer mask. It matches her outfit. She looks like a Muppet out there with the mask going on. Really, people? This was a tragic issue that she was talking about. Someone was killed, and we're focusing on her mask and what it looks like. So, I'm just saying to me, that was particularly inappropriate. So I'm done now. I've said what I came to say, but I think that we need to all become a little bit kinder and a little bit smarter in these things. Enough.
Hopefully there will be changes in social media this year that will make it a more positive place to go instead of just a total wasteland.
Yeah, I hope so.
So, and on that note, thank you, Steve.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone, for watching us, and we will see you next month.
Stay safe, Wakefield. Take care. Bye-bye.